Economics and politics are the foundation of human development.
While forming the world's earliest civilizations, Africans also laid the groundwork for the creation of economic systems.
By learning from our history, we gain the strength to empower the present and design the future. Presenting the premier forum for truth, culture, and change. HAPI Talks. Join us as we unlock the secrets to our success. Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace,
Oh, wait.
Nice.
You know what? I took your opening. That's where I got it from.
What?
I'm like, peace, peace, peace. I used to
Oh.
never say that until I met you, Hassan. Yeah, I just do it one piece, but you always like peace, peace, peace. See, I
Yeah.
tell you, oh my God, it's like we're morphed to the same person already.
I'm about that peace. I'm about that peace until I'm not.
Until you're
Yeah.
until you're not.
We have peace all the time, but I come into it peaceful.
Absolutely. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. So first of all, just greetings to everybody in the chat. I love you guys. You guys are already getting lively, like at 150. So that's what's up. We're gonna have a very enlightening show. Baba is I like him. I mean, he's just
Very
he's a
strong,
straight shooter.
very
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah, we like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So let's get our housekeeping business out the way. Family,
Mhm.
make sure that you are liking, sharing, and commenting on this video. Okay. It's very important. The share part is very important because listen, we know that isn't it like Super Bowl Sunday or something here? I don't know. Yeah. It's like I don't even care about the Super Bowl. But listen, for those of you, and I'm not gonna talk about you if you like the Super Bowl. I'm just not into football since the Detroit Lions lost. So I need for you guys to share this video. Okay. I'm telling you, we know he's going to say some stuff. He's going to enlighten us. We're going to be feeling good. So we want you to extend that goodness to other people by sharing the video. Okay. And also, while you're in the business of sharing the video, please make sure that you like that not only like, but subscribe to our channel. So in fact, there's a couple of channels you're going to have to subscribe to. And throughout this session, I'll be putting it on the screen. Make sure you subscribe to our HAPI page, our HAPI Film at YouTube, our HAPI Film at Facebook. Those are very important to make sure. And then also Maponga has a YouTube page and a Facebook page that you guys need to make sure you're following him and subscribing on those pages as well. Okay. So that's super important. The other piece is we have a clearance sale going on at our HAPI store. Right here. I got my Nubia shirt on today. I also have a coat because it's cold. I'm even though I'm indoors, it's still chilly up here in the Northeast. So family, make sure you can go on to right there onto hapifilm.com and make sure that you are clicking onto the icon for the sale and you can get some really cool HAPI gear. The other piece is the HAPI newsletter. So fam, listen, it's so important for us to be able to get to chat with you when we're not, just like on social media. So if we have your email address, we can send you emails. And Hassan's going to talk to you about the special email that went out with the newsletter this time. But it's so important that you guys are tapped into the newsletter. If you just go to hapifilm.com, okay, after you got a little piece of merchandise, so you head over to the icon that says stay connected or get connected, hit that, send us your email address. So that way you get all of our stuff that we give out. We do a newsletter every single month. This newsletter is fabulous. We have articles about financial wealth, about spiritual wealth, about like physical health. We also tell you like what's going on over here in HAPI land. Like there's a lot of good information in that newsletter. We have Baba.
We'll also update you on past events. We'll bring you up to speed with past events, just to show you what we've been doing in the past, just in case you missed something.
Yep. And then, and we also, like, we have Dr. Malana Karanga. He lets us repost one of his articles that he does every month in there. And from time to time, we've had Professor Small write articles. Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, she does a book choice every month. So it's it's packed and it's full of information. And we also let people know about any trips or anything that we have going on, which we do. we do have a trip, and I'm going to let me share the screen real quick with you guys with that. And Hassan, while I'm doing that, talk about the Black History piece that you've been doing.
Yeah, so we've been sending out a Black History piece every day. So this past segment was about revolts happening, in different parts of the world. And what my inspiration was for putting that together was, oftentimes it may appear that we didn't fight back, from the time of slavery's inception, whether it be in Africa, on the continent, or in the diaspora, but we fought, from the continent to the diaspora, from the ship to the plantation. So, I just wanted to show that, we did revolt, we did rebel, and we're still revolting and still rebelling to this day in different forms and fashions. So that's basically, what I put out for this segment. And then next week's segment, we'll take it down a little bit and we'll focus more on entertainment, different forms of revolting within entertainment as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So family, so this is the thing, if you're connected to the newsletter, every day you've been getting just a paragraph and a link, so that you can just get more information. And this is really, we've actually never done this. And Hassan is being really humble right now, but this is something that he started years ago, and he just had close family friends he would send these things to. But every single day you're gonna get a piece of what he would send to his family. And it is really nice. I've been using it, and as a way, I told him, when I first started looking at him, I was like, oh my God, this is great, because it's a way, if you're not into history, because you don't think for whatever reason you shouldn't be into history, it doesn't matter. It is a little piece every day, and it makes it gets your mind going. And it's also a good thing if you have kids, because sometimes kids need a little piece so they get it. So what I did in my house was, and even kids who don't live with me, but all my god babies who are all in their late teens, early 20s, I've been sending it to them. So at the end of the first week, which will be tomorrow, will be the last post for the first week, we're going to have a whole discussion about what it means to be, a person who revolted. How did they revolt in their lives? It's going to be a whole discussion. So you can use this in so many ways. So we really want you guys to be connected to that. So make sure you're signed on to the.
So there's a revolting energy that's going on right now. So it's kind of fitting.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Okay. And right here, family, last thing, and then we brought to bring on Baba. The HAPI in Africa tour, it starts August 20th to the 30th, and we're going to be hitting 3 places. So 3 locations, 1 trip. All right. We are going to, we're flying into Togo, then we're going to head out to Ghana and then to Egypt. And this is going to be, and you know what, let me take some of this stuff off the screen so that you guys can see this. Okay. This is going to be a really, this is going to be a good trip. If you are even remotely interested, because I'm telling you now, the first bunch of tickets that we got, once those go, we have to go back and get more seats from the airlines. And sometimes the price goes up a little bit. So you want to get in right now. The deposit is $300 to reserve your seat. And yeah, we're going to hit these 3 spots. This is going to be, listen, I'm always loving to go to Africa, but this is a really nice way. And, I was thinking about this the other day. It's whatever type of travel you like, we have. You can definitely, if you're a solo traveler, that might feel different because it'll be a bunch of us there. But even if you don't know anybody, you can come. Every year, every time we have a pilgrimage like this, there's a lot of people who don't know anybody. But when they leave, it's like family. In fact, once we touch down to Africa, it's like we're family. And people have also extended, like when we come back, they still have these groups that they stay in, they communicate, which is really nice. If you're a couple, you can come, kids come, so it's a family type of event. But this is a trip that's very sacred to us. So if you want to be a part of it, just head to HAPITours.com and click on read more about it, put your registration form in, and go from there. That's how we met. That's how I met. Well, no, I met Hassan before then, but Hassan's been on a couple of our trips as well. You want to add, Hassan?
Yeah, like I said before, this is the perfect trip for someone that's never been to the continent, especially if you want to bring your kids, because I think you should bring your kids as well, because you get in 3 countries in one. And you get to see the similarities and the differences, going from west to northeast, you get to see the differences. So I think it's ideal. And not to mention, for that price, I may sound like a salesman, but, seriously, for that price, it's a good look. It's definitely a good look.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, fam. All right, we are here, and this is the last really quick business. After we're done with our guest, we are going to be giving away yet another HAPI box. Look, it's filled with some stuff, family. Okay, and you know what? And the other piece, and let me just say this, is that going on these trips, it builds community in a way that you didn't even know you needed.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of sneaks up on you. I still talk to people who I went on this trip with the first time ever, like years and years and years ago. So this is, yeah. All right. So we get ready to get started. We're just waiting for Baba to have a seat. We can see him backstage. So once he has a seat, we'll go ahead and get started. You got anything?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to rock and roll.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Here you go.
I know. It's like, yes, make sure you guys are liking and sharing. Okay. All right. You look good, Baba. Okay. All right. So, God, you know what? Let me just bring him in. Okay. This is Baba Maponga. Peace, Baba. Oh, he can't hear us. Oh, yay. Okay. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Beautiful.
Peace, good brother. How you doing today?
Yeah, but there's some cockroaches in the line there that here and there. I don't know whether someone is scrambling online but I'm on Wi-Fi, full Wi-Fi.
Okay.
The line was not clear, but let's just hope we will pull through.
Yeah, we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Yeah. If anything happens, you got to go out and come back in. We just sit here and wait for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because listen, sometimes when we have people we know about to say some stuff, it always seems like there's something wrong with the line. It happens to us. It used to happen a lot with Dr. Ranoko Rashidi. When he would come on, I tell you, it was just like just some type of little Wi-Fi thing was happening. So listen, we know we don't know this is good luck then.
Yeah. So we won't hold the audience up. Let's jump right into your background, and just bring us up to speed on your background and who you are and what you're about.
I must bring you up to speed on
your background. For the people that aren't familiar with you, just bring us up to speed on what your background is.
My background. There's a chair in the background. and a big door at the back there. Yeah, but I'm pulling your leg, of course. Yeah, my background is philosophy, theology, pastoral work, a bit of TV programming here and there, but social re-engineering has been my passion area, where we are basically constantly involved in transforming the thinking of our communities, whether through youth programs, community empowerment programs, business negotiations, cultural interactions, music, art and crafts, and fashion. We'll discuss more as we go along, but I am here for the holistic transformation and the realization of the true freedom for Africans, which includes, but not limited to, self-actualization and self-determination, purely and radically meaning that we can put to rest the colonial slumber with its pajamas. We can be able to start our development from ourselves, rather than working from what they expect us to do, and we have to fast track countries that are now on 4G, 5G, when we still in some certain villages don't have water, don't have clean health. And these same white companies are here extorting minerals out of the ground, vandalizing the ground, creating more problems, causing political unrest, regime changes, and yet they want us to compete with them in Seattle with their feet in some hot tubs, smoking their cigars. And I don't think it's a fair play. You cannot put so much weight on the African child and expect him to get on the same race with you, when you actually, through your democratization systems and political systems, are making it even impossible for us to access each other, communication, transport, health, and other facilities. And multinational companies are a big factor in Africa, whether they be from China, from Europe, or from America. All we have come to memorize now is the big word, American interests. So we are beginning to ask ourselves, are those interests in our interest also? And my background has been weaving our way and around that issue of moral, ethical transformation, imposition of Western cultures on African people. And when you are groping with one thing, they bring another. When you think you're fixing this, they bring another. And it's almost like they carry the goalposts with them. The Americans carry the goalposts with them. One day they are saying gays are right. Trump comes the following morning and says there are only two sexes. And then one time you're talking democracy, the other time you're invading Venezuela and killing Gaddafi, and you're confusing us here. Yeah. So we might have to just stop a little bit as Africans and go inside ourselves and begin to have that meaningful conversation. Is this bus going where we want it to go? Or we've become passengers in a bus that is heading towards our perdition? So I am a social activist. I'm a big fan of, a big student of the Henry Clarks, the Professor James Small, the Gavis, the Kwame Nkrumahs, Julius Nyerere, Robert Mugabe, Sobukwes, Mandela's, Samora Machel, the list can go on and on, but I cannot even consider myself as a Pan-Africanist yet. I don't even think I can fit in any one of those shoes. But I'm a student learning, bending my fingers here and there. But above everything else, it is the pain. I think as I'm growing up now, I'm almost heading for 60 now, to wake up and discover the hypocrisy of America and its democratic system, that actually they cannot even spell that word without starting off with the word K, which means kill for our purposes, or destroy for our purposes, or vandalize for our good. And it gives me quite a shock. I'm a product of Andrews University in Barron Springs, Michigan, and that's where I got my academic training. And I'm now living in Zimbabwe, but traveling and touring the whole world, meeting people and making friends. I like nature, going to the natural sacred sites. If I can spend a night in a cave, I will. If I can spend a night in a forest, I will. If I can go to a culture in the midst of nowhere and go and learn the ancient sciences and technologies of our ancestors, I will. And if brothers are calling from Jamaica, I will come. So basically, I'm just living. Another person asked me a question, what do you do for a living? I said, I live.
Yes.
So maybe my background is that of poverty and struggle. And I'm now beginning to move over into really coming face to face with the Goliaths of this world. And all I have is some few stones and a sling in my hand. I thank you.
So thank you for that. Appreciate that. So you said that that you're still learning and you can't consider yourself a Pan-African as of yet. So, but for you to get to this point where you are now in your mindset, when did you arrive at this point? Because I know that at one point you were working with the church as well, right?
I didn't get the question nicely. I suggest maybe while we are going, we can also use the message prompt, so that if I miss the question, I could be able to quickly recap on it. I did not hear what you said, my elder.
Okay, so can you hear me all right now?
I hear you, but it's chopping. It's chopping like, so I missed some words and I didn't get clearly.
Okay, I know that you were working with the church at one point. Am I correct?
I was what?
Working with the church?
The church?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yes, okay. So when do you still work with the church, or you left the church?
When a small child goes to the market with the mother, and the mother comes back alone to the house, who left the other?
You got to say that one again for me.
Did the mother leave the child, or the child left the mother? But mommy comes back home and she comes back alone. What do we say? The child left the mother, or the mother left the child?
The mother left the child.
I can never be bigger than the church. It's much older than me by years, by experience, and by skill. But when you start questioning certain issues, and when you start questioning certain practices, interpretations, then you are bound to get in trouble, especially when you are looking at colonial religious Christian organizations which are fully baptized in Washington, D.C., and their mindset is that of an American who is operating in Africa. Surely the traditions and the cultures of America must be kept, espoused, and maintained within the African context. And those have become holy goats. You cannot challenge them. We must dress up like Americans. We must sing like Americans. We must eat like Americans, and we must behave like Americans. And when you wake up in the morning and discover, no, there is no God in being American, then you're bound to get in trouble with the status quo, which was my fate. So I found myself in direct conflict with the administration of the church. And look, I'm a third generation born in the Adventist church. I'm through and through what the Seventh-day Adventist Church has produced. And when they've produced this kind of a brain and this kind of a person, and then the person comes to discuss with them with the sharp mind that you have, and you begin to question the very essence on which theology and dogma is sitting, the whole system trembles and shakes. And they train you to become the best that you can be. But when you become the best, it looks like there's no seat for the best except for those that can conform. So I am not a conformist by any chance. 33 years of my life, I spent them on the pulpit. And I don't think I've changed my message. I've just become louder, that's all. And big mouths don't make it in organizations. I found myself on the exit door faster than I thought.
So what made you question religion?
Social ills, social injustice, and particularly the church's passivity and naivety on dealing with political and social transformation. We cannot be going to war and you tell people not to go to war. But when a country is free and independent, you want to enjoy the benefits of other people's children having died at war. That's not fair at all. You cannot be talking about collecting monies and sending them to lands afar to protect institutions that are sitting in America, in Loma Linda, in Walla Walla, and yet right outside your doorstep of the church as a pastor, you're collecting thousands and putting them in envelopes and sending them away. It didn't feel right to me. You cannot be looking at people suffering from diseases and there are indigenous herbs that are around, and when you touch those herbs and recommend them, they're deemed as witchcraft. And yet our forefathers have been using some of these herbs and etc. The list can go on. I can go on into fashion. I was tired of singing Amazing Grace when I discovered it was a song for the slaves. And I said, how do I celebrate Amazing Grace? How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. A wretch from what? The wretch is the man who took the song. The wretch is the man who was driving the ship. And when you throw away this, take the world, but give me Jesus. I said, no, I don't need Jesus if I don't have land. I cannot worship Jesus in a tree or on a bush or on a cloud. I need land. So how do you make me sing the song that says, take the world, but give me Jesus? Then what do I do with Jesus if I don't have an address where I can worship him? Then you begin to question all these concepts of theology, the gospel according to Matthew, the gospel according to Luke. And if it is according to, so therefore the author is not the same as according to. These are hearsays of the one who heard that it was spoken by Matthew like this, and he is now writing the gospel according to. So the authorship of the Bible, the editing of the script itself became another problem, where verses of slavery, slaves obey your masters, beat your servants and slaves as long as you don't kill them. And I'm wondering what type of a God can make another human being and gives authority to another human being to butcher, kill, rape, beat up, and just don't kill. And it looks like this remnant theology gives the Christians, particularly the Jewish Christians, permission to go around the world with those that claim to be Christians. And if you don't believe in God, then you don't have a right to land. You don't have a right to existence, because their Bible teaches them that wherever your foot will go, I will give you those places. I'll give you houses that you never built. I'll make you have many slaves. In Deuteronomy chapter 20, I don't want to start on a theological symposium. This might end up getting messy and I might get emotional, but it did not make sense to me. And I always had these questions when I was a young person in class. The teacher said, wait, you'll find it in your second year. Second year came. No, in the third year, in the fourth year, when you are doing a final semester, you get this. I finished, did my second degree. I still had questions. I went into pastoring and I still had questions. And when I started asking these questions from the pulpit, they said, no, you can't be asking those questions. It is you now who must be giving answers to those questions. Then I literally lost my marbles. I lost my marbles because I had too much, which the school did not do enough for me. Even the concept of God did not make sense. God is just an appellation of some divinity. What is his name? If you go Yahweh, you're a Jew. If you go Islam, Allah, you are Islam. If you go Mvelingangi, you're Zulu. But so why are we being forced to worship this abstract concept of God, whereas God is non-existent without a name? Indians have their gods, Chinese have their gods, Europeans have their gods. So why bring this God with a passport as a vase to be worshipped? We don't have an experience with God in Africa. We have an experience with Mwari. We have an experience with Gainyame. We have an experience with Mvelingang, Musikavano, Modimo, the one who runs the heavens. And if you take away our understanding of cosmology, translated into theology, you leave people who are schizophrenic, who are halfway Christian and halfway traditional. And on the day of trouble, many Africans always resort and they fall back to their cultures, because those things make much more sense than this potted plant called Christianity, which does not eat local food, it does not dress in local clothes, it does not speak local language, and all it does, it must be protected. And when you give Africans something and they begin to protect it, they'll protect it more than the people who brought it all together. So we have more Africans who are more white than white, more colonized than the colonizers themselves. So I parted ways on many fronts. This thing just started cracking like like dried sugar in my hands. The more I tried to put it together, it just kept on crumbling and cracking. And now I don't even know whether I'm standing or I'm walking, but theology does not make sense. I don't like discussing. I'm even writing my own Bible to make it even worse.
Oh, yeah?
My understanding of what I think, being a qualified theologian, I think after 33 years of work, I can also write a paragraph, an academic, scholarly paragraph, extending my view on this whole concept of dogmatics, theology, systematic theology, or whatever form of philosophical, theophanic discussions people can have. So I'm actually putting my Bible together. We're sitting on about 415 chapters now. And I think maybe in the next 1 year or 2 years, I should be able to release the first version. But the last one, you release it on the day I die. Then you'll compile it all together for the next generation to read what I have come to experience through this intervention called Christianity, with whatever it represents.
Wow. Go ahead, Felicia. You're muted.
Okay. Oh my gosh, so much to ask more questions about. All right. So Baba, when you're one of the things, I hear you're speaking a lot, and you said something when just a little bit earlier, you said access to each other. That we don't have access to each other. Do you feel like Africans want access, to Black Americans? Not like for tourism or for us to come over. Like, do you think that there's real access that's wanted from
a large part of us was taken away from us in whatever condition, with cooperation from us, with commercial businesses, with religious treaties that were signed, and the global economic world that was in need of cheap labor. What happened? Why do we as Africans need you? Number one, you have lived with the beast. You know the beast better than all of us here in Africa. And I think that your connection with us will help us to pull off the curtain from our eyes when we think that what comes from the West is all gloss and beautiful. Number two, you are skilled. You are skilled by the beast, trained by the system, well educated. Even the most uneducated American, in terms of common knowledge of technology, world politics, and etc., due to media and other spaces, you're equally at an advantage of having more data and information on how to process and think and react to information that is around you. And that is needed in Africa. Because what we have in Africa, I'm sorry to say this, are bigoted coconuts who border on the line of power and ignorance, while they claim to be governing Africans. They don't even have a clue on what governance means, what project management means, what water reticulation means, what construction means, what medicine and pharmaceutical mean, what colonial propaganda and TVs and media, what they mean. You'll have a minister in Africa who would buy himself a 4x4 car so that he does not have to fix the road. That's the kind of mindset that you have.
Wow.
He would rather get himself an air ticket to go and get treatment in India and spend 4 million than go to India and buy the dialysis machine and bring it to his hospital in town. That's the kind of mindset we have. African ministers and presidents who would be ordering caviar from Greece, ordering champagnes from France, and having Rolex watches on their hands, when outside their houses, sewage gutters are running for the poor people. Now, this for me is not something to joke about, because what we have seen is many of these government officials that are running Africa have been trained in the West. They are graduates of Massachusetts, graduates of Harvard, graduates of Cambridge, graduates in the Western institutions. And then when the West looks at them, they said, these African presidents, point of correction, they are not African presidents. They are Western presidents, educated, trained, circumcised, and initiated in the West. And they were, some of them were even put in power by the West under regime changes. So how do you blame me for having such a poor government when in fact the government you put in place is your government? I mean, look at Libya, for example. Look at Cameroon, for example. The list, I could start and the list to go. Look at Congo, for example. The only president I ever heard Donald Trump praising in the whole world is Kabila from Congo. But every day in Congo, guns are blazing and people are dying. And Trump is happy. He's a gentleman, the best president that I can talk about. Don't you get sick out of this? We need you to come back here and begin educational programs. We need new curriculums, rewritten. You have the desire and the quest of information that you need from us. How to package it and put it together, that's where you come. You tell us what you want, we tell you what we want. And I think Africans can find each other. I was in Jamaica, I was in India, in the Caribbean there. And you notice that when the ships of slavery were moving from Africa, there was a straight route from Gorée Island, from Angola, from Ghana, straight into the Caribbean for all those years. Are you aware to date there is no straight ship or straight flight from the Caribbean into Africa? You must leave Jamaica to Frankfurt, pay visas, or to Doha. You must leave Jamaica to Netherlands, Amsterdam, or England, or New York. From New York, then come back this way. 36 hours I spent on flight coming from Jamaica. I refused to go via Frankfurt. Send me through Gurulis. I ended up in Brazil. From Brazil back to Africa, 36 hours on a trip that you can take less than 4 to 5 hours. And all the Caribbean presidents sitting together, they still cannot pull out the cotton wool from their faces. That we need each other, not only for tourism, for sports, cultural interaction, cultural repairs and emotional repairs, reworking ourselves, education exchange, medicine exchange. I see this market which has not yet been tapped into. If the technology and the knowledge of the American and the Caribbean can meet the resources of the African, we don't need the Chinese and the Americans. We would rather move our goods from Africa straight into your hands in the Caribbean and into America than be sodomized by the Chinese and the multinational companies.
So I want to ask you, what do you think the Berlin Conference did to the continent, and did it affect Black Americans as well?
Your lines were drawn in your mind. Our lines were drawn on the ground. The problem is the same. If a man comes with a ruler and he cuts through your kitchen, that your children need a visa to come and see you and your wife needs a visa to come to the bedroom, then that's when you'll notice how difficult this was. Tribes, clans, nations that once lived in harmony. You look at the Swazi people who live in South Africa, who live in Swaziland, who live in Mozambique. They are torn apart by a border that was put by white people. Look at the Tswana people, Botswana, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. You look at the Tonga people, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. You look at the Shangani people, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Zambia, South Africa, Swaziland. Borders it was ruthlessly done right through people's farms and through people's houses. And then these nations that once lived in harmony now are living at war. These xenophobias are now creeping in. Brothers are killing each other because of a small little stupid passport and a silly national anthem and a silly little piece of money that you call paper. You need visas and passports that were instituted during colonization, and even after independence, those institutions are still standing strong. That's how the African governments are. That they went to war to fight the system, but they came into the same system and became the oppressors and the drivers of the very same system that they were fighting against. The Minister of Health came in and sat on the chair that the Minister of Health was sitting on. The Minister of Prison Services came in, sat on the chair. In some certain cases, not a single iota of adjustment on those policies has happened. So basically, the colonialist is still sitting here, but unfortunately is in black clothes. So the proverb is true. Trees were wondering, how come they're disappearing, until they noticed that actually the handle was one of them.
Do you think
So
it's
the black American for me is affected because the lack of unity on the African continent kills that one voice we want to hear. What Ibrahim Traore did. I was there a few months ago in October when we welcomed 750 diasporans who were relocating into Burkina Faso. Logistical issues because some of the people who are claiming to be coming from diaspora are self-inflicted economic refugees from Africa who are now coming in through the back door. But that's a conversation for another day. But if all the African governments, there is enough land, there is enough potential. If all African governments can say we have 48 million Afro-Americans or wherever they are, those who want to come back home. I have 200 square kilometers. I have 100. I have 50,000. I have 100,000. I mean, Africa can take India, China, Europe, and America as a continent. Your maps are wrong. We have enough land here for the whole world. Whole world can come and fit in here. So the lack of that one united voice makes it difficult for the Afro-American to walk anywhere in Africa and feel welcome. And that has also resulted in political instabilities, economic issues, and various other elements that we can add in there. So the Berlin Conference created the division, which now has become a source of pain, where Africa can no longer speak with one voice, but we've been fragmented into 55 small little voices. And these superpowers walk into each and every one of us, and they do as they please. How do you expect an economy such as America to come to Swaziland and strike a deal with Swaziland that is less than 900,000 people? What do you do? It's not even a budget for Manhattan. It's not even a budget for the back of town in the Bronx. The whole Bronx together, it is equivalent to a whole country. So when America comes into Swaziland, abuse is bound to happen. Financially, you're outnumbered. Militarily, you're outnumbered. Academically, you're outsmarted. But imagine if 1.4 billion people, 1.5 billion, some say 1.6 billion Africans can stand together, one army, stand together, one satellite, stand together, one passport, stand together, one currency, one stock exchange, stand together, one language for commercial purposes. Mandarin is being forced on us right now before we even force our own languages on ourselves. Stand together with the orderless Africa, the movement of goods and services, the negotiations on the international table. 55 of us, we don't even have a seat on the Security Council. 55 countries, 1.5 billion people are not represented on the Security Council. But a country like Ukraine is already campaigning and trying to rush into the Security Council. This is the nonsense that we are talking about, that unity divides us. But I think these borders divide us, but unity will bring us together. Divided, we have fallen. United, I think we will stand.
Absolutely. So you know what? So like when I hear you talk, and I'm just like, yes, we need that. But I'm, I can understand how if we came together, what this could look like, right? But but when I'm looking at how do we get started, where's like where's the easiest point for us to get started, right? And you said something about, you know, that we have cultural repairs, we have emotional repairs. Like, what does emotional repairs between Africans and Black Africans look like? Like, how do we repair that?
There
How do
are,
we
there are
repair
more, more
yeah.
there are diplomatic ways of starting, and there are more unconventional ways of starting. I'll start with my favorite, which is the unconventional one.
Yeah, I
The
like those.
unconventional one are able-bodied Americans, all healthy, crime-free Americans, Afro-Americans, who say, we want to go home. They charter their own flight. They fly anywhere they want. They offload themselves on the airplane, throw away their passports in the dustbins, and tell the country, we have come, we have no names, we have no passports, we are children that have returned home. You need to create a crisis sometimes so that the conversation can begin at a certain level. This, if I had an opportunity of addressing the Africa Union, or ECOWAS, SADC, or COMESA, I would lose my head, because I don't understand up to now why are African governments not making the repatriation of our children a priority. The trauma that the children in diaspora have suffered, not only in the hands of present regimes and political instability and racial discrimination, but just for you to know where you come from. I'm not saying all of them would want to come back to Africa. By no chance, no. There are others who are comfortable right there in the belly of the beast. But let those who are willing to retrace their steps, reestablish their roots. It only takes one generation to move back. It only takes one generation. After you, your children, your grandchildren, America will be spoken in history. That's what it took when they took you there. It only took one generation and the changing of names there. Here you are 400 years later. History can be changed by a single event. And for me, even if we could start off by renaming ceremonies, start off by, rites of passages, start off by, business networks, start off with educational, transfers, fellows when children are there, come here, send them here for studying. I also send my children there for studying, and we interact with each other. But in this world of abuse and suspicion and etc., some of these initiatives might seem far-fetched. So it might be actually be more practical that families that want to ground their children here, ground their families here, 6 months fellow holidays, come back, walk the ground, drink the water, look around the environment, study it, and find what kind of business. Can you imagine in Zimbabwe here, you can buy a mine for as cheap as $20,000, $30,000. Tell me where in the world will you buy a reserve that is worth 10, 15 million for that kind of money? People are literally pumping gold with picks and shovels, using buckets to pull water out from lucrative mines. And some of these things just need small little investments. And with some of your cell phone money and a little bit of your investment that you have with a correct business model, you could actually find yourself a millionaire in far much less time than it would take you in America there. So the resources are there, skills are not there. Maybe the business community can go first. But I will give you a much better answer since I am an academician also. The colonial system worked on four fronts. The first front was that of the explorers. These are the David Livingstones, these are the Cecil John Rhodes, these are the Vasco da Gamas, who are just walking around with a piece of paper, looking at monkeys, looking at baboons, and we thought that they were just touring. No, they were not touring. Those missions were paid for. They were paid for by the royal houses that were looking for new territories to conquer. The next group that followed were the missionaries who came here with the religious talks. Just love God, Jesus loves you. When we are coming for you in a few days, but when we clap you on one cheek, please give us the other cheek. When we take away your jacket, please give us the waistcoat also. You must love your enemies and pray for those that persecute you. Brainwashed. After that, the next group that followed are the mercenaries who came to butcher kill and take. And the last group that came were the investors who found the environment had been cleared. This is the model of colonization. You're asking me how you're going to do it? Maybe look at that model and see what you can do. I like what iSpeed did a few days ago. I wish I could have 1,000 iSpeeds who can come into Africa with your cameras, come and look at the continent, dispel the myth of what Africa is all about. And when we have done our exploration, let's allow ourselves to spiritually begin to integrate with each other. After spiritual integration, I cannot worry if war should break off, let it be. And ultimately, let us invest in a future that we can all see together. I thank you.
Yeah. Yes. You know what? Okay, wait. Family, make sure you are liking and sharing and commenting on this video. This is such a good conversation, and we got to make sure that this gets out to everyone who needs to hear it. Okay, family, it's really important, and it's also important to likewise to support Baba Maponga and support HAPI platforms that are bringing you the truth, but not only bringing the truth, but are about action. And so the way you do that, it's easy. It's liking this video, sharing the video with somebody, and making sure that you write a comment. But also on Maponga's page, you can subscribe to him. I didn't even know you could subscribe. I subscribed yesterday, and it's very inexpensive to subscribe. But that's the way you support this brother, so he can continue to do all the work. Okay, it is an aspect. It's a way that this is how we build trust. But the support is needed. The support is needed. Okay. Maponga, as you were talking, I was thinking, that, and you said rites of passage, and I really feel as though as if we could, come together, that there needs to be a rites of passage to get us on the same spiritual plane. Because once we're on the correct spiritual plane together, then working together is easy. All the stuff that you're talking about building becomes really easy. So how do we get on the same spiritual plane?
In African spirituality, we have two words. We have one word we call secrets. The other word is sacred. Secrets are things that we don't tell because we want to manage you with ignorance. But sacred, we don't tell unless you are going to experience it. So it's not about me beginning to tell you rites of passage and what that entails, because some of the basic stuff, the land knows you. You are from here. I don't have to go further than that. The land knows you. Your DNA is written in the ground here. If the rites of passage can simply mean I'll bring you here and get you a clean piece of land and a clean piece of ground, and I say lick the soil. Remind your DNA the soil from where you come from. Over and above more rituals which vary from tribes to nations and clans. But the rites of passage for me would represent a reintroduction of childhood, the naming of the children, and your naming, of course, your burials of your loved ones, if need be, planting them back into the ground, the whole process of what it takes to detox yourself and reset your brain, body, and mind to factory settings. How do you appreciate certain cultures, which from where you are sitting, they look like this is a no thing. But when you come closer to the culture, you'll be shocked to find the intelligence, the genius, the Shango bones. You'll be shocked to discover the menstrual cycles and the beads that are hanging around women's waists. You'll be shocked to discover the discs that are put on their necks and what they represent, the use of meteorology and the use of clay, the roundavels, the cylindrical, the cosmic concept of construction, the pharmaceuticals that are in the bush, secrets of speaking to trees and animals, and making sure that you are in touch. To me, it's a lifestyle. This cannot be done on an SMS, on a WhatsApp. Okay, Maponga J, tell me what entails the rites of passage. This is an entire DNA of a societal construct which cannot be taught in classroom, but can only be taught. I cannot teach you how to make kente cloth. You need to sit down with the old women who are doing it. Hold here, twist like this, twist like that. And while you are twisting this, what does a red string represent? What does a yellow one represent? What does the gold one represent? What does a golden stool? What is it? Is it a space station? Is it an observation center when you're sitting and watching the stars? Which stars? What are the names of those stars? So from simple art, you could move over into education, into training. It's an institution. You could actually have an institution simply from a royal stool, because it's not just about a piece of furniture. But I mean, I look at you right now with those beautiful pieces of art that are hanging behind you, my honorable brother. Thank you very much for hanging those things. But to us, art is not for display. It is functional. Mm-hmm. It is functional. Right on your two pieces of art, the one on the left there, I see the right and I see the left, the circle of eternity on the right, representing the mother side, the circle on the left representing the mother side, right representing the father side. All those are clans. All those are clans of memory of ancestors and genealogies that a child must know. From your father's side, how do you join and run through 1, 2, 3 generations? And from there, then you have those spikes that are going into the cosmos as you connect with other nations and etc. And it's beautiful. To you, it's a piece of beautiful art. But there is a whole textbook of genealogical. Had you sat down to see it being constructed, and they tell you all those pieces that are there, you begin to see that these initiations are in art form, they're in craft form, they're in lifestyle, they're in anatomy, they're in land, they're in herbal extraction, they're in potteries, they're in construction. Man, it is, and unfortunately, you will not come here and find this information walking on the streets, because while you were being colonized also, you were also being colonized. It's only a few places around where you still find people with passion, knowledge that's available, birth control issues, birth stools in the times gone past. And when our generation goes away, I'm sorry to tell you that you will only have an epitaph to read. Most of this information will go away with us, because neither universities, diaspora and local, have an interest in what we are talking about. What they want is a piece of pizza, bring me a glass of Coke, and bring me some chicken legs from KFC, and bring me some Louis Vuitton glasses. And we don't invest in research in Africa. We invest in clothes, in cars, and in Gucci. And unfortunately, we are watching, actually, in our generation, a wasting away of information and data. And you may have to come and dig us from the graves to get some of these nuts.
Well, thank you for that breakdown, because that's very important, what you were saying as far as what should be done when Africans in the diaspora come to the continent to better connect and to learn the culture, learn the spirituality, sitting down with the people, being in the bush. Because I think that, by doing that remembers us, it connects us once again, because I think most of it is the disconnect.
Let's speak in English. It remembers you.
Yes.
Remembers. It reconnects you.
Absolutely. And that's what we need. Yes, we can better understand each other. And, that way it won't be such a disconnect, because I think there is a little disconnect just for the lack of understanding the different cultures.
Yeah.
With technology available, we can draft a small little program for yourselves. And maybe today I'm all over the place. I might overwhelm you with lots of information and you would not know where to start. But we could maybe start off with maybe just basic courting, courtship, marriage in African context. How did they used to do it? and maybe we could pace through that. Architecture. How did they used to do it? Fashion. How did they used to do it? This whole misogynist, male and female patriarchy in African context. How was it like? Task separation. So maybe we could do workshops. We have technology now. You all might not need necessarily to rush up here first to get that information, but we can do an orientation to a certain level to allay some certain fears. And those, I was talking to Felicia the other day. Surely, I also extend the invitation to you, my brother. You can close the station for 2 weeks. It will not shut down. You can close it for 2 weeks and come down and do it from here. Walk around these places. Let's come and sit eyeball to eyeball, eating dried millies and ground nuts here. Let's go and sit in a cave and spend a night there and see how you feel about it. I'm not going to tell you what to feel. It's your body here, your body on the ground. You speak, you say what you want. That's your story. That becomes your testimony. So it's not about me giving you data and information and say, this is no. It's you getting there. Experience it, and then you can tell the world how you feel like. But unfortunately, we are being second guessed by those who Google us up, and they've never shaken our hands, and they claim to know us.
Googled us up. I like that.
Yes.
They Googled. You are the man with the best quotes. And you know what? And thank you. And you know what? Let me listen, family. There is a website. It's a Facebook page that has like Joshua Maponga quotes. Unfollow it if you are following it. That is not his page. These people are taking this man's name. So if you are if you it's like, oh, you think it's him? No. I have his official page on the screen right now. Make sure you are following this page and this page only. Okay. Any other page?
Of course, they've gone to my page and they take my quotations. Exactly. And then they put them there, but then they doctor them around. Sometimes they do it well, sometimes they do a bad job.
Yeah. Like that's not okay. God, this is Baba. And also I want to tell you, when you were talking about the spiritual piece, and I think one of the ways, and you two are being a little humble in this fact, family. I don't even know if you guys know that Maponga has this book right here. And I'll put the link. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. And it's called "So You Want to Be the Master." Can you just talk to us a little bit about what that title means and what this book is about? Why are you laughing? This is a good book. This is a good book. I know. This is a good book, family. So go ahead.
Yeah, that was my first offering. I did that with iUniverse. Actually published in the States. Yeah, but I've done another 10 or 15 more after that one. So I'm smiling because you are holding the very me when I was in transition between Christianity and the Pan-African space where I am now. And I did that book when my marriage collapsed and I had remained with children 6 years and 4 years. I had become too excited about religion, and I thought that Jesus would sleep with my wife. And are you laughing? Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at me?
No.
I've dealt with my wounds. We can laugh. It's fine. And I woke up to discover that it's not so. Jesus does not look after other people's wives. And so I had two children. But of course, on another day we'll discuss. He has nothing to do with other people's wives, but he went on to get Joseph's wife pregnant. But that's for another day. And I had 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I had to sit down and decide, do I become a master or do I become a servant or a slave? And I picked up the story of the Good Samaritan, which theologically I dissected it to find the 6 characters that are on the storyline. That is the walker, who is the Samaritan, the thieves and the thugs, who are the robbers, then the religious system, who are the priests, and the Levites, who are the assistants, the civil servants, then the innkeeper, then the Good Samaritan, who is the main character, and finally the innkeeper, who are the institutions that must look after broken people. So that story for me stopped becoming a religious story, but it became a story of my life. Where am I on that story? Am I the walker? Am I the thief? So I didn't put it like that, but this was a mindset. This is a template that I had when I wrote the book. Do I become the walker? Do I walk away from this situation? Do I also go and ambush other people and destroy them the way I've been destroyed? Do I become so religious that I ignore the problems that are on the side and focus on Jesus only? Do I support the system that is destroying me? Or do I become a good Samaritan? Have I become too high on my horse that I have forgotten the problems of my wife that is on the ground? If I had a chance of going down, what was I going to do? How would I pick her up? How would I bandage? How would I carry? How would I get off my donkey and let her walk I will walk, she will ride. And ultimately, how do I create an environment which is an inn, a hotel, a hospital, basically, for human beings that have been broken by life? Therefore, the tagline in that book, if you find it, call me, run a breakdown service on the highway of life. That becomes you becoming the master. Walk through life. Please don't be a thug. Don't become a religious snob. No, don't become a supporter of systems. So basically, when you read that book, I did that in 2007, 2004, 2007, you could begin to see the formulation of my political views using the biblical text as a storyboard, where some of these familiar stories that have been told to us, the question is, how do you transform these stories into finding the real folklore, the real oral tradition, which speaks to our political, our spiritual and religious conundrum in which the African child is facing right now. So I would read the story of David and Goliath and write something similar to that. How do we fight the Goliath? I would read the story of Mary and Martha and look at the corruption of churches and etc. So basically, my understanding of text has been greatly influenced by the environment in which I'm living. And for me, that was one of the first offerings. I'd planned to make them into a series of a couple of stories and extracting them, but I lost appetite when the church seemed not to taste what was, they could not read what I had. And I even wrote another book called Preaching Dynamics, The Art of Public Speaking, a beautiful piece of work. Maybe someday I'll pick up confidence and publish it. But for what it is worth, I'll be helping them to sharpen their tools on how to share propaganda,
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I thank you for that. Wow, this is your first offering, because when I was reading through this, it's really a blueprint for getting your mind right. Getting your mind in a space where you can then do all the things you want to do. It's an excellent book. You have to, you can't lose the appetite. You should think about, listen, I'm not trying to give you more work, but I am saying that this is a good, it's a curriculum. It's already written up in sand.
I want to ask you, what are you doing nowadays, as far as your life is concerned? Because I heard you once say that you lost opportunity to experience life because of corporate work and church, working for the church. So what changed, and what are you doing now instead of that to experience life?
Yeah, I leave basically, but it was painful, I should say, because you're looking at an illustrious career full of opportunities, invested time, money, effort, skills, your retirements and everything else, and to walk away from all that without a penny in your hand to pursue and follow your passion. That was a difficult decision, and I think I would not advise anyone to do that unless you have thoroughly calculated your. You can learn from my scars. You don't have to be injured where I was injured. But what I do now, I've written I've written a few books which are keeping me afloat. I do public speaking. I've gained quite a bit of reputation with some few governments around. So I do some advisory work here and there. I do reputation management for corporates, and above everything else, I travel, I learn, I see, and I'm building a cultural village right now, which is my greatest passion. Anyone who wants to get involved in that, that would be the best thing. If you want to help me, that's what you can do, is to partner with farmers of thought who want to build. I've already bought the piece of land, so don't worry about the purchasing. I've bought it. What we are just putting inside now are infrastructures. We want to create a place where when you come with family, you can experience African culture in its organic form. So, like, it's not a hotel, but it will have more or less like accommodation. But you come there, you cook for yourself. You grind your own meal. You cut your own vegetables. You milk your own cows. You make your own mud hut. For me, it is the skills transfer, where in time, a family can come. We then begin also to help parents in terms of parenting, where children must sit, where fathers must sit, where mothers must, where fathers must, and realign this family as it were. And I think by then, when this center is fully functional, I've already put 3, 4, 5 structures. I got some few guests already who couldn't wait. They just want to come and start. So they're putting me under pressure. But it is a place where you can agree as a family, we are going to leave our brains behind and walk into this space and just have a factory reset. Why do I say a father must sit on this chair? And why must the woman sit on this mat? Why must the children sit over there? Why must the father have this? Why must the mother have this? Why must the woman do? Basic to some of us as Africans, this is common knowledge. But then if you look very carefully inside there, I think some of the most complicated social ills we're facing have emanated from mixed roles, misunderstandings, and kind of people are fusing Western culture with African culture. I'm actually started writing another book here entitled Square Poles in Round Holes. How do we force the European culture, which is square, into a cosmic African culture, which is round? And for me, that's what I'm doing for the greatest part of time. It is to try and put that village in place. And when Felicia comes here, and I'll make sure she spends a few nights in a mud hut. Yeah.
Oh, no, not in the mud hut. Oh, wow. Listen, I'm down. Listen, it's so funny because as soon as I talked to you, the first cat I called was Hassan. I was like, yo, Hassan, listen, let me tell you what we about to do. So, I'm with it. And I so appreciate you because that transition, deciding to leave this behind and do this over here. That's what it takes. I feel like for us to kind of get to this next level, it's a sacrifice in a way, for us just to really move. I think nobody can ever say that you're not about your people. I will say that because, it takes, it's things like this that, just thank you. Thank you.
And I'll say what I definitely appreciate is that your focus is having the people come to be with people and to actually learn, like the way you broke down the mask, because I think that's very important for us to know exactly what it is and why it is, because Mfudishi Jehutimus talks about symbolic thought versus symptomatic thought. And you have to know why these symbols are, because when you know why these symbols are, it's better to connect. You connect better, and you navigate a little bit different than just seeing a symbol and not knowing what it means.
Yeah,
I appreciate
the people. Sorry,
you're not good.
No, and it connects to people. So now it's like I'm connected. I'm connected to people. to my, to my brothers and sisters in Africa. It's like it's like, when you said that art is functional, we use, you're right. Like, I have all types of things that we, that have on the walls and things like that. But there's very few things that I have a connection to, because and the things I do have a connection to is because I understand how they were made and why they were made, and so yeah.
And they look at it from this other angle, from a scientific angle. I mean, look at some of these signs, those masks that are there. In a laboratory where you put, dust on a piece of cloth and then you play music underneath it, and it makes the similar kind of patterns.
Yeah.
The African, in his primitiveness, to have been able to capture these cosmic vibrations and interpret them into pieces of art, man, I don't think we have done justice to the level of intelligence that the whole world, the stars and the vibrations, physics and chemistry, all of those elements coming together in a piece of art. Therefore, I want to say to you and your listeners, the greatest form of knowledge and the highest form of self-actualization is art. Because it is through art that you begin to write experiences for the next generation. Art is spiritual, because then you are downloading chords into pieces of furniture. It's no longer just about a pot. It is now the whole design, the architecture of the pot and the symbols that it would represent. Whether you're looking at headbands for the Zulu and Ndebele women, when you look at these pieces of art, the beads around our women's waist when they count their months and 28 days and etc. And they end up, to be able to take the whole menstrual cycle, mark and plot it into a waistline beadwork and make a child put that on without necessarily making that child to read the book, chapter 5. On the first week, you are bleeding heavily. On the second week, it's getting light. On the third week, you have now dried up. On the fourth week, you are now ovulating. And to be able to teach all that with a piece of string that is around your waistline, hell no. You must go back to school and ask for all your school fees. They wasted your time. They wasted your time in school. Because school is not about books. School is about experience, knowledge, and application.
I didn't know that. Yeah, we got to get to Zimbabwe, Hassan. There's a lot of stuff we don't know here.
Have you been to Egypt?
I have not been to Egypt yet. We have bigger pyramids in Zimbabwe than in Egypt.
Yeah.
Egypt is a baby of our civilization.
Yeah.
They are older civilizations. Zalo Yelanga goes back 30, 40, 50,000 years prior to Egypt. And the great Zimbabwe is down here. Egypt is a baby. There are more pyramids in Sudan than you have in Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, we got to have you back on one day to talk about the history of Zimbabwe.
We can just focus on that, and we have a good time. It will be an orientation before you come.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely gonna need that.
Yeah,
I'll make sure that the whole community and the government will welcome you when you come. I will make sure that you are treated with royalty when you come. Yes.
You know what, that brings me to a question, because it was something that you said earlier, and just when you're talking about the government and welcoming, when we do a lot of travel, so family, for you guys that don't know, so there's HAPI, but then there's HAPI Tours, and HAPI Tours was founded in 1999 by Taki Grant. He's not on here right now, but he's the one that really started the HAPI movement, all of this. But he started, HAPI Tours, just bringing Black folks to to Africa. And one of the things that, you know, now almost 30 something years later that we're seeing is that a lot of times when we're trying to get into countries, it seems like they're saying, come on in. But all the things that are set up makes us not want to, it makes it very hard to come in, you know, and not just like the visa process. Like, that's crazy. Having, you know, it seems like they're doing things that they know Black Americans don't necessarily want to do, like having to take shots, like vaccinations. Like, that's not a thing. We're not down for that. But for some of the countries out there, we have to take shots. So that's why it just seems a little sometimes disingenuous when they're saying, come on, when the process is so hard to come, you know?
When you come, this is part of your exploration. Mm-hmm. This is part of your information. This is part of your assisting the system to say, can you slacken this? Can you slacken this? Can you help us manage that? Can you, because we remember these institutions that the governments are running, they were established by the colonizers. Yeah. It's not like the African governments are expecting to be difficult. But the very institutions which they are managing, these laws were written by the very white people today whom we are fighting against. So sometimes Africans think that to preserve a colonial legacy is actually doing God a favor. And it's like being an Uncle Tom makes God love you better because you are less radical, and etc. So I don't want you to get discouraged, my people. I don't want you to get discouraged. There is lots of work ahead of us. We are here 400 years later. 400 years later. And I've always said this illustration, when a person who has been drunk or has been in a deep sleep, when they wake up, some wake up very angry, some wake up disillusioned, some wake up half awake, half dead, and you're still trying to figure out, you know, where am I? And by the time you finally are awake of where you are, and I think we seem to find the African nation just waking up from that slumber. And let's be patient with each other. And you cannot expect them to just say, oh, hello, wake up, run. You know, you will confuse some and they'll run into walls. Maybe to gently tap them on the shoulder. We are here. We are here. Please wash up your face. We have visitors outside. Can you clean up yourself? Can you get ready? Can you make some breakfast? You know, and I think I'm excited because when you speak to some of the government officials and some of the governments, there is positive movement. The Sahara has shown us that it can be done. Kenya has opened up visas to all Africans. Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania are working on opening up their borders. Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Botswana are at an advanced stage also of opening up their borders. Zambia and Ghana, last week, they signed a treaty, free movement. So there is some amount of movement. And I think once some of those treaties begin to be realized into function, we may actually begin to see a very seamless flow of. But before it happens, you as our children, I think you need to come in and do the battling with us. Run ahead of everybody else and come and take your rightful place.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, you're right. The movement, it is happening, and it's happening like in Africa and not necessarily with us. You know, like I got so excited because I saw we're going to Togo this in August, and I saw where you don't need a visa or something for Togo, but it's like for Africans. And I was like, but I'm African, but they ain't talking about me. And so that's why I love this idea. So listen, family, the revolution gonna start in Zimbabwe. Okay, we starting the revolution in Zimbabwe with our brother Maponga, and that's how we're gonna get this work done. That's what's up.
Come on, come all. Leave some of the bad habits there. Just come ready to learn. It's only fools who know everything, and come ready to experience the land. And no matter how tall a child is, they can never be older than their fathers.
Yes, definitely. Listen, before we go, I just want you I want you to talk to us briefly about that concept that you have of direction, erection, and affection.
That's for that was for the men's conference.
That's for the men's conference?
Oh.
Yeah, we're saying, there are 3 to 4 words. The first word is aggression. Then the second word is affection. The third word is erection. And the fourth word is direction. Aggression. Men are naturally aggressive. But we are saying be aggressive towards the things that threaten what you love. Don't be aggressive towards your wife, towards your children. No, for outside, we are aggressive. For business, for money, we are aggressive. But when we step into the house, we become affectionate. We use affection for inside. Aggression for outside, affection for inside. So men have combined aggression with erection. And that's where women abuse is rife. Where you think that by being aggressive, you get a better erection. No, a better erection is when you are affectionate. Then you get a better erection. And the conclusion was that never allow your erection to influence your direction. So it was just a small little idea that I was touring with to see how I could assist men to work with anger issues, work with aggression issues, affection. It was in a GBV space, gender-based violence space. And I had to come up with a concept of how do we infuse and inculcate, harmonious family relationships, cordial, marital and conjugal rights, and above all, planning and fostering a future as a unified unity as a family. Yeah, that was the context, but thank you for asking.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate you so much for coming on, spending some time with us, giving us your perspective, giving us your energy, sharing your energy with us. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
Namaste.
Yeah, thank you. So listen, brother, I want to call you tomorrow morning and we're going to have a conversation. We got to put pen to paper. Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for your team. I cannot say Ola, your friend Ola Delay. Wait, am I saying it
Ola
right?
Yeah, Ola Delay.
Yes. I appreciate him. I reached out to him and he was like, give me I called him and so then he was like, who is this calling, type situation. So I explained who I was. He's like, okay, give me a minute. And so then he comes back. He's like, okay, I checked you out. And I was like, not checking me out. But he did. He checked us out and he was like, okay, this is how we can make this happen. So I just appreciate, I appreciate the love from your camp. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. See you again. See you shortly.
Yes.
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 Thank you much. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Love and peace.
Okay, family. Listen, we're about to give away our box, our little HAPI box. And make sure right here, HAPI box. And all of you new, I saw a lot of new faces, which is nice. So we every month for the next 10, well, not every month, every live session, we're giving away our HAPI box. Okay. And I know you guys are asking, what's in the HAPI box? I know we have a lot of good stuff in the box. All right. So first of all, the box itself. Okay, look at that. All right. I know. How many times have you heard this, Hassan? You're just like, okay. So that's the HAPI actually glyph right there. Okay. And that's all part of the box. It's all the stuff you get inside the box. Right here, you get a little HAPI mug. Okay. These are beautiful. So one of the brothers that we have that was on the show, Atinas Tillman, he wrote a book called the 7 Keys to Personal Development for Street Survival. Right here, he donated books for everybody, which is really nice. This is a good book, and you need to also see the the HAPI Talks we did about that one. Now, also we include the fan. Now, we should have asked Maponga because it seems like we're not going to be able to use a fan in Zimbabwe.
Why you say that?
Because he's talking about we're gonna be on the land, and all the videos I see of him, I never see him with a little fan. But if you win the HAPI box, you get a little fan family, because it's a little hot in Africa. Okay, and those of you in Africa right now, you can go ahead and tell us what's going on in Africa in terms of the temperature. You also get this beautiful map of Kemet that Enoch Hankerson gave us. It's laminated. This is really, I was looking at this the other day. It's very nice. And he's the brother that always did maps with Dr. Ranoka Rashidi. And then also you get a HAPI t-shirt. Okay. Yeah. And this is like one from our limited lines. This is the Compass, which is a really nice shirt. You also get we did a Power and Unity conference in Detroit, right here. And we had so many scholars. We had about 13 scholars come, and they all wrote personal essays about unity, and everyone was given a free book. So you get this free commemorative book, and we had everybody. We had Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, Riza Islam, Shahrazad Ali, Professor James Small. Everybody has something that's in this book. So this is great. You also get a gift certificate. So you get this gift certificate, which gives you $100 off any trip with ICAT Tours. So you get that. And then the last thing, but definitely not least, is you get a personal letter from myself, Hassan, and Taki thanking you for being a supporter. So that is the HAPI Box family. And we're going to ask you guys a question. You guys know the drill. We're going to ask a question, and then we're going to see, if you know the answer. And the first person answers gets the box. And yes, this box right here, yes, it is dope. I love the box. I love the actual box.
Are we using, which email are we using?
Oh, thank you. So let me put up the email. So everybody get where you can get like a little screen where you can still hear us and see us, but that you can get the answer. Because I feel like this one might be a relatively easy one. Okay. Okay, let me just get, and you're gonna email us at hapifilm@gmail.com. Okay. All right. So we'll give you like a little minute, get yourself together here, right there. This is so much fun.
You love this.
Yeah, I do. Because I wish everybody on this call could just get a HAPI box, because we really appreciate the HAPI love that we get. We really, it fuels us in a way for us to keep doing this work. And it's really nice. And it's nice when we see you guys in the community. It's nice. No, Nawari, you cannot win another box. Okay, if you've already won a box, we're not looking at you. We're not looking at you if you want to run another box. But yes, this is really, it's a part of like us building community, and to really just be in appreciation of you guys. So yeah. Okay. You're gonna ask the question, okay? Okay, Hassan.
All right.
All right. Okay, you know what? This is I need to, this has to be a smoother transition for me, because I'm sitting up here trying to, okay. All right. Why is it back? You know what? I don't know why it does this. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something else. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, here's the question. Okay, family. So listen, you're going to, the first person to come up with the answer, and you're just going to email us at hapifilm@gmail.com. All right. Go ahead. So sorry.
What is the name of the the 1795 Jamaican uprising led by the Maroons of Trelawney Town. Trelawney Town.
Yeah, right
We
there.
didn't say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
A tongue twister. What is the name of the 1795 Jamaican uprising led by the Maroons of the Trelawney Town?
Yeah. Right there, family. And make sure, listen, just don't put it in the chat. You gotta email us. Email us. Right there. And we have our trusty dusty team of people scouring the emails right now. Yes. And family, thank you for all the happy Cash App love. I forget to mention the Cash App. Listen, these Cash Apps, they go to all types of things like, well, this box, but just the creation of anything you see, like the commercials, the memes, things like that. And it's all, all those things are done by people that look like us. When we film our in-studio sessions, like that's who we need to get an inside studio session with. That would be nice with when we go over there. We're going to have to get some really nice interviews with Maponga. But yes, so when you contribute, when you donate, it's really 100% for us to keep doing this work. All right. So what's going on? Let's see. Man, we got to give some music. But we got to make our own music because any other music, YouTube would just stop us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we gotta make our own music.
Hey,
Okay.
Felicia, before I forget, Carol said to tell you hello. She went to Ghana.
Carol? Oh, you saw Miss Carol, and you know what? Yeah, you
gotta at the Blueprint for Pigment Conference.
Yo, listen, when we're done with this, you got to fill everybody in, about that conference because that's a huge thing. Okay, we have a winner. Yay. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so this is the, wait, do you know the answer to this? Do you know the answer?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Okay, I guess I was the only person that didn't know the answer. Okay. All right. Well, this is the answer right here. No, yep, right there. The Second Maroon War. And the winner is Tika. Tika.
Okay.
Yeah, right, Tika. All right. You know what? Tika also won. See, let me tell you. That's why it's important to be on this newsletter and to be tapped in with us because Tika also won when we had Coach Val J come on. She also won the question. Yeah, see, Tika don't be playing. Listen, family, come on, right here. So thank you. Yay. All right. Thank you, Tika. Your box is on the way, girl. There it is. Hey. I know we got to get some little claps too. We got to get some little, we need some. We need
some sound effects or something.
Yeah, we 100%. Yeah, so tell the family about the conference you were with. You went to.
Yeah, so this conference in Atlanta, it was a 2-day conference. It was Friday and Saturday that just passed. Dr. Timothy Owens Moore put it together along with Ubuntu. And thank you. It's my secretary. Yeah, but no, we they had some workshops, some lectures, some panel discussions. They did honoring for the living grandmasters, which I thought was dope because a lot of times we do honoring for the ancestors, but these were for the living grandmasters. So they honored Tony Browder, Jewel Pookrum, Hunter Adams, Professor Kaba, Edward Bruce Bynum, quite a few people. And then they also did a little tribute because they were supposed to be honoring Charles Finch as well. But, he made his transition. So they ended up honoring him in the ancestral world. And his wife was there as well. So, yeah. So it was really dope. They had a performance by what was the name of this band? They're kind of well known too. the Common Ground Collective. Yeah, no, Common Ground Collective. Sorry. And they do covers. Really dope band. But it was dope. All together, it was dope. Got a lot of information, a lot of good energy. Spoke to a lot of the scholars, the elders, and it was very well put together. Very well put together.
Dang, that's nice. I'm glad that you were supporting Dr. Moore, because that's important. Family, like, it's these little gestures that mean a lot to people. And can you tell them just a little bit about the space? Because when you were talking about the space, it's like, that space sounds dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to put something together too, because I did some video footage. Maybe we could post that at some point, or maybe show it for the next HAPI Talks. But it's a spot called the New Black Wall Street, and a brother bought a Target that closed down, and you know how big Targets are.
Mm-hmm.
So a brother bought a Target and transformed it into a New Black Wall Street, where he had different aisles with little boutique spaces, maybe like 15 by 15 spaces, 20 by 20. And it's just a super dope concept, because they have the boutiques, and then they have conference room, they have an event hall, banquet hall. They have another spot that has a full-fledged restaurant lounge. You can you can have parties in there. You can have comedy shows, whatever. Then they had like what seemed to be like maybe like a small movie theater kind of thing, because they had a big screen with some chairs like set up auditorium style. So I advise, whenever you're in Atlanta, go stop by New Black Wall Street, and it's going to be something in there that you like. They have a food court. Like I've never seen anything like this before, except for like a mall, But this is like a mall that we put together. That used to be a Target, a huge parking lot. So, there's no need to be parking on the street like a New Yorker. It's a dope look. It's like everything, all purpose.
Yeah, I mean, you had me at Target's. When you said Target, how big? I was just thinking how big Target is, and then like each aisle was named after a Black person. I was like, that's dope. And then you can just buy all, like that is like the epitome of buying Black.
Yeah. And it's so fitting. It's so fitting for the title New Black Wall Street, because in all honesty, this can literally be the new Black Wall Street, and it is the new Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
But like, I just see like the growth and the potential. Like there's a real potential there, that can just spawn out. It was something else over there. I think it was the movie theater that closed down. There was something else over there that was vacant. So I'm just imagining if we bought different things in that area and just, really went full-fledged with this New Black Wall Street.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking like, this is a model that can be done everywhere. Like I was just thinking like, guys, like what stops us from getting any space and building it out like this? Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. So I just want to say for everyone who's not like tapped into HAPI Film, right? We have because there's a lot of I saw some people like asking like, what's HAPI? Like, who's HAPI and stuff like that. So HAPI, that's a huge question. But I will tell you a few things. One, you got to get tapped into our newsletter, okay? Because that's going to start. You'll start to figure out like who we are by our newsletter, in terms of the things we do, the articles we write, and things like that. HAPI is the ancient Egyptian name for the Nile River, okay? And it's where the first constructs of economics came from. And when we think about like who we are in this HAPI movement, it's the bringing of economics, culture, and politics all into one, right? And when you're part of, when you start to see like what we do and how we move, then you're going to want to be a part of it too. But we also have a whole documentary, Okay, it's a whole documentary that we did called HAPI From Crops to Stocks that you can find on Tubi. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's also on Quayle TV. And for those that don't know, Quayle TV is actually owned by this Black woman, and it's a streaming service, just like Peacock, like any of these other streaming services. So I'm trying to figure out, why don't I have right here? Yep. So it's Amazon, Quayle TV, and Tubi. And you can check out our film. That's one part. And then we also do these talks called HAPI Talks, where we bring on Black folks that are trying to move other Black people forward. There's 3 of us right now that make up the team. There's Taki Grant, there's Hassan, call him Haas, and myself, Felicia. And yeah, so, we really invite you guys to to be a part of the HAPI movement. And I'm telling you now, you're going to see us. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to Zimbabwe. We're going to hang out with Marara Maponga and check that out. That's going to be nice. Yeah. All right. You have anything else?
Well, yeah, I just want to say on the behalf of the HAPI family, just want to send light and love to my brother Nawari. His mother passed away. Just want to say, hold tight. She's an ancestor now. She'll talk through you, and we're here for you. If you need something, let us know. All right, brother?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then on that note, but I did want to acknowledge my brother, because I can only imagine that it's a rough time, but like we know in the African thought, nothing dies, just transitions from one thing to another.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Nawari's always around. I met Nawari like years ago at the African Street Festival, because he's also a filmmaker. He's done a film. So yeah, and so every time we turn around, I always see Nawari there. Like, hey, what's up? So yeah.
Definitely. But on that note, people, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you sharing your time with us, because your time is very valuable and we don't want to waste your time. All right. So we catch you on the next HAPI Talks. Stay tuned, and we're going to keep it pushing. Stay happy. Peace.
Economics and politics are the foundation of human development.
While forming the world's earliest civilizations, Africans also laid the groundwork for the creation of economic systems.
By learning from our history, we gain the strength to empower the present and design the future. Presenting the premier forum for truth, culture, and change. HAPI Talks. Join us as we unlock the secrets to our success.